Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott Mackenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk, and thank you so very much for your continued support of this ever-expanding ecosystem of problem solvers. You're bold, you're brave, you dare greatly, you're changing lives, and you're changing the world. That's why we have this platform to celebrate you each and every day. In the hot seat, we have a gentleman by the name of Markus Rimmele. The company is DigitalituM. And we're going to be talking about digitalization, manufacturing, AR, VR, the tools that are necessary. In this conversation, we just got to get cracking. Let's get going. Yeah, whether you like it or not. Manufacturers have got to educate. It's happening. It's happening so fast. It's just happening so fast. And you have to collaborate. You have to find individuals like Markus to have great conversations about how you can leverage technology, innovation to help create that business that is resilient, definitely. And so you need individuals like Markus and others to help you with that journey because it is happening and it's happening fast. A couple of points of business. We have two. We have multiple webcasts out there, but two newer versions of the webcast. One is aligning your supply chain strategy with the PF curve. How do you do that? It's all important. Your supply chain, your logistics strategy must align with the way you're managing those assets in the PF curve. It just is. So every step of the way of that curve, being able to identify how you would approach your logistics and supply chain solution. Great conversation. The second one is this digitalization of the utilities. It's out there. It's brand new. And it's being an old transmission lineman, and this is a journeyman. This is a really interesting conversation because I'm very linear when it comes to what is taking or how I view utilities, but it's not linear anymore. It is a data collection, data analytics conversation. And how do you do that effectively? How do you allow utilities to have insights into their business, right? And still deliver power reliably, cost effectively, because it's happening. And again, I'm always advocating, educating, collaborating. Those are the two great things. And of course, the technology is it's out there. You just need to know what is out there. All right, let's get cracking with the conversation. The topic is how digitalization tools can solve ongoing problems and dilemmas for manufacturers. That is the topic of conversation. Markus is in the hot seat. Let's get cracking. Markus, welcome to Industrial Talk. Thank you very much for joining and finding time in your busy schedule and being very flexible with the schedule because last week I was in Vegas. I was doing stuff with some Hexagon folks and, he was very nice and kind and said, sure, no problem. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good, and thanks for having me, Scott. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's cool. I like for the listeners out there, we always have a sort of a form that they filled out, and I'm pretty excited about the topic that we're going to be talking about, and it's all right there. It's pretty straightforward, but I'm excited about it. Before we get into that topic, Markus, give us a little 411, a little background on who you are.
Yes, I'm happy to do so. If you may hear from my strange accent, I'm not an original Southerner from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm actually born and raised in Germany. Came 15 years ago to the US and still like it and enjoy it. My professional path is in the manufacturing, specifically machine building industry, where I made my way up, how we say here, from a mechatronic technician to an electrical engineer, first wiring up machines, then programming them, installing them, do commissionings on in factories all around the world. I've been in 4 or 5 continents, traveled a lot, seen a lot of different factories. Got then the chance to come to the US, went there into project management, and then later on into field service management. And with the changes what COVID brought to all of us, I decided to start my own show, which is called DigitalituM. And there we focus on digitalization tools for the manufacturing industry in the AR, VR, IoT space.
There you go, man. Now, Mad Street Cred, thank you very much for that CV, real-time CV. Now, that's a good segue into the digitalization conversation. And so the problem I see out there, and the challenges I see, I don't like using problems, so I reversed that and I said challenges. The opportunity I see, how about that? That's even more positive.
Yeah, challenges, opportunities, problems, dilemmas, however you want to call it.
Absolutely. I want to be positive, so I'm going to say the opportunities. But the reality is that there's a lot of conversation out there. There's a lot of buzz. There's a lot of people talking digitalization. And let's say I'm a manufacturer. One, it's important for me to at least begin that journey or have that conversation or educate myself. But the reality is that, and you might be able to explain this, why is digitalization so important for manufacturers to at least consider?
In my point of view, everything what is under the umbrella of digitalization, and digitalization is such of a big word. It means so many different things.
It's huge.
But it is, in my point of view, a solution to the problems we have in the industry. And there are many, many problems. We have this skill gap. We have not enough workers. We have data fragmented, sitting around. We have ineffective methods of exchanging data. We have communication problems, and so on and so on. And these tools, and that's why I use that word digitalization tools, these tools, what digitalization offers us, can be a solution to fix the one or the other problem and get better and make the manufacturing industry better and more attractive.
Yeah, the reality is
and more efficient and whatever acronym you want to put in under the umbrella of better.
The reality is that we need manufacturers. We just do. The economy needs manufacturers, both here in the United States and around the world. That is important. The other reality that I, pull from that is it's not getting any easier to find people. It's getting harder. And it's just the realities of the marketplace. Even though there are many job openings, doesn't mean they're being filled by competent, trained individuals. And so we have a major challenge there, absolutely. But you're saying, you advocating that a digitalization strategy, journey, finding the right partner is good for business, right?
That is my point, yes. That's how you can sum it up. And on the other hand, if you do not focus on digitalization, on your business and on your business model, I would also say that at one point of time, maybe your business does not exist anymore.
Yeah, because I'm in the business, but I'm not working on the business. And that is a really interesting distinction. And you can still sort of straddle the fence and be in the business, but you still have to work on the business. So let's say you've just touched it's like, I hear what Markus is saying. Let us know, let the listener know, what steps can we begin to sort of look into for achieving some digitalization journey?
Yeah, and digitalization journey is the right word, because it's such of a big topic. You cannot do all and everything on at one point of time. It's a step-by-step approach over time. It's like climbing a ladder and getting better and better. Also, digitalization is not a topic which is just a pure engineering topic, what people often think. It's IT thing, it's engineer thing, and these guys are taking care of it. There's another statement of mine, or it's actually not my statement, it's all around, where it says digitalization affects every department in a company. From recruiting, HR, operations, sales, manufacturing, maintenance, you name it. It impacts every department.
So, with that said, it seems, again, I'm just Scott manufacturer, and I hear you. It seems overwhelming. Can it be overwhelming, or can we incrementally sort of deploy solutions?
It is overwhelming, and there's a big gap in understanding. I think that the big guys, the Fortune 500 companies, for example, they have the budget, they have the people, they figured this whole digitalization thing already out, and they're playing it already. While the smaller and medium manufacturers, they don't have the budget, they don't have the people, the specific people, because they just focus on their core business. And they are kind of falling behind. And that's where people and companies like me come in, which help and consult these companies by understanding their specific situation and help them with tools to get better and see it like a tool in your toolbox. Currently you still have your toolbox, your tool cart with your screwdrivers, your pliers, your wrenches, and every of these tools has a specific use case, and you can do one thing with it. With a half-inch wrench, you can open a half-inch screw, but not a 3/4-inch screw. With a screwdriver, you can open or close a screw, and then it depends: is it a Phillips, a flathead, and what size even. And in digitalization, there are nowadays also so many different tools that it's almost becoming overwhelming.
But it's gonna be challenging, because Scott manufacturer looks at manufacturing one way, and Markus manufacturer looks at manufacturing. We might be manufacturing the same thing, but our approaches can be different, which I guarantee you they are. So the digitalization conversation has to be somewhat custom for each conversation, right?
Yes.
To a certain extent.
Going back to that toolbox example, if I look into Scott's toolbox, and if you look into Markus's toolbox, they look different. They're different in size, in how big is your toolbox. You have your favorite tool brands in there. I have mine. And you have the tools you're using a lot, and I have the tools I'm using a lot. But yes, we both have toolboxes, and we need these tools to do our job, right?
So back to the toolbox analogy, that sounds to me that I can look at my operations, and I can sort of pick and choose the deployment of a digitalization strategy, probably from the low-hanging fruit, the inefficiencies, and just start there and getting some wins in that sense. And before I do a big bang, would you advocate sort of a incremental approach to my organization?
Yes, definitely. There are like systems there, your ERP system, your maintenance management system, your enterprise asset management systems. These are all big systems, which when you implement it to your operation, to your organization, they take a long time. They are complex. It takes a while, can go into years until they're operational and everybody is trained. And it's a big thing. Also a very big investment in time and money. On top of that, I still say you should add additional tools to that system to support it and do things what your big system cannot do. And that's
Right.
what the tools in your toolbox are for. And on top of your hardware tools from your toolbox, in the future, you add a couple of what I call digitalization tools to your toolbox in order to get better. And yes, these are the low-hanging fruits, as every of these tools has a specific use case, a specific problem to focus on and get you a solution on that.
See, if I was, and of course I'm going to be talking about, or I'm going to be thinking as Scott manufacturer, I'm going to be thinking about my return on that investment. I'm going to want to be able to be really sort of hard nosed, a little tough on that, because it's one thing to say, hey, these are great shiny objects and let's do it if it has a no-brainer ROI, but from that perspective, does it make financial sense if I do it right, all things being equal?
Yeah.
If I do it right, does it make sense?
I would say if you do it right, it makes sense. The question is always how you calculate it. That's the one thing, what values you put in there. And one issue is, for example, that certain inefficiency in your operations is not really measured in a dollar value. So therefore, or it's in lots of different buckets, and therefore you do not have a real value against what you're saving in an ROI. Another important thing with this digitalization tools is always the implementation and the training. Nothing is worse that you get this new shiny silver bullet tool, and nobody wants to use it or knows how to use it, and then it's just sitting there and collecting dust.
A common tale. It does happen, and you're absolutely right. So there's that usability component, because you want, I hate to say it, it sounds so authoritarian. You want compliance, so you want people to use the tool to the advantage of the organization, and but it don't make it hard for me. Don't.
Yeah, and there's of course also a lot of times this skepticism. There's this new thing, and it's completely out of my box. I cannot really think what this is all about, and if I use it, does it actually take my job away? And all of these things, and that's the reason why I don't use it. In digitalization, automation, that's still kind of in the back burner of a lot of people.
Because the reality is, of course I want to keep my asset up and running. I want to keep on spinning. I want to keep on, fulfilling and achieving the demands of the market. No doubt about that. I agree with you 100%. But you brought up something that's interesting from my perspective, is like the shiny new stuff. And a lot of conversations evolve around the advent. I got the IoT devices. Everybody's talking IoT, vibration, thermal, whatever. They're all out there, and we can do a lot of connectivity, and that makes sense. And I like that. And it's imperative. Got it. But there's also a lot of buzz and conversation about AR, VR, and insight, and using those, emerging solutions for my organization. Can you sort of help the listeners understand why sort of an augmented and a virtual is sort of important for manufacturers?
Yes, because this technology allows to get you the information you need at the location you are. Example for that, let's imagine this picture. We are both out in a manufacturing shop floor, big factory. We're both new, and we come to this new machine which has an issue, and we need to fix it or do a PM on that. We don't have any technical information on that. And the good old way is now to go back to the maintenance shop, which is a half mile this way.
Yeah.
And in that maintenance shop, there's this wall of paper binders. And the first challenge for us is now to find the right binder for that particular equipment or asset, because every binder looks different. They're not well sorted. At one point of time, we find that binder, and it's that big one with the 1,000 pages in it. And now we have to find that right page to get to that wiring diagram, to that manual, to that drawing, to that bill of material, what we're looking for. And we're scrolling through, and we thought we have the right page. And then we figured out, oh, my coworker Scott ripped that page out last time when he did that job, and he didn't put it back in.
Yeah, and it's out of date.
Yes. Or there are two assets which are kind of similar, but not exactly the same. And we take the other one, have the wrong information, and then do the wrong thing, which then may cause some issues and problems. Then some other companies, when I tell this story, say, oh, we are digitalized already, which means they have all the information on a network drive or on a shared drive. Unfortunately, the way how it looks like, it's a cumbersome folder structure, like in your Explorer, with hundreds of different subfolders and strange names. And then within, if you go 5, 10, 20 levels down, you find documents with a file name 123 abc.pdf or other strange names. And if you use that awesome Windows Explorer search function and you put in what you actually looking for, you get either two results. Either you get 1 million hits, and then you go through that 1 million list to find which one is yours, or you get nothing. But you do not get what you need.
Right. And again, that sounds like a common journey on what exists today on the floor of a manufacturer. And so what you're saying is that, well,
so that's not the problem side of things. What could be a solution is everybody of us in the year 2023 has most likely this magic device in your pocket. And
if you're out on the videos, he's holding up a cell phone.
Cannot see it. It's called a smartphone.
Yeah.
And this magic device can do a lot of things. And it can give you, for example, the information you need at the location you are by. For example, scanning a specific custom QR code on that asset. And with this, you get staying with augmented reality, you get an augmented 3D model augmented on top of your machine. And within that, you see now where are all your different components and the associated documents, PDFs, manuals, video links are in that. And what does it do for you? It gives you the information you need where you are, and that specific one for that particular asset.
It sounds cool. Yep. It can also identify, if I remember correctly, it can also identify problems with the asset, overheating bearing or whatever it might be, vibration of some sort. And it also sends that information, delivers that information to the individual,
Exactly.
But doesn't it require a accurate data on the other end? Like, you can't have garbage going in. You need to have some sort of a back end to be able to deliver that level of efficiencies. Is that correct?
Of course, like with every system, garbage in, garbage out.
Yep.
And that's also one challenge of feeding the right information into the system to then get them out. And I would say in more older systems, that this whole wiring of data happens manually. And then nowadays, with the advancements of tools we have under the umbrella of AI or artificial intelligence, that makes this manual wiring, which is very cumbersome and takes a lot of time and therefore also expensive, kind of automates it and makes it better to establish such projects much faster as a lower cost. That's how I see this in general.
Yeah, and I think as time goes on, these solutions will be driven down from a cost perspective. Boeing's using it. Boeing's using it for maintaining their planes, and you know, they're using it so that they don't have to go back to the old fashioned. Not to say that they don't. I'm just saying that they don't have to go to the single line maps and figure out, the cabling and all of that stuff and find the one that they want to work on. So from a safety perspective, kudos. I like that. So
definitely, it brings a lot of advantages. And if we come back now to the whole training aspect, bringing new people into the profession or helping the newer ones, the beginners in growing and understanding this all, using these tools has a far steeper learning curve, in my point of view, as the traditional method. As the traditional method in learning your trade is still, you kind of look how the senior is doing it, and you following in his shade. And after years of following it, you're kind of on that level as well. And if that person, for whatever reason, leaves the company because he or she gets retired, this whole know-how is gone. And that's another aspect of digitalization, by being now able to bring this specific content into a data form and actually keep it, and also be able to share it more efficiently through technologies like either augmented reality or virtual reality.
See, this is all great, and I hear what manufacturers, and I believe that manufacturers, one, they need to find some trusted Sherpa to help them along. And I think that that's a real important, and that's a human interaction, and that's a conversation, and that's a dialogue, and I like that. And find that individual or find that company that can help you with that. That's one. I think that two is it's imperative that manufacturers as a whole, to be nimble, to be agile, and have a resilient business. I think that a digitalization strategy is a must. I mean, it's because somebody's going to do it, and somebody's going to capture that market share, and it's only going to blah blah blah. You just need to be a part of it, whether you like it or not. And finally, with all of that great facts and realities of what's taking place in the market, what are the roadblocks? What prevents me from saying, "Hey, I got it, Marcus, man," but I'm not fill in the blanks?
The major roadblock, in my point of view, is the let's say, the whole topic of change management. You need to change, and in general, people don't want to change, as they're used to do certain things in a certain way, even if they're inefficient, and even if they complain every day how stupid it is. But it's still easier to do it this way than doing it in a brand new way. And I think that's one major issue.
Whether we like it or not, change happens. And it's a great bumper sticker. People don't want to change, but change happens. It happens all the time. And you might as well just embrace the change.
Sometimes it needs outside forces, like this whole IoT topic or technology was available in the 2010s already. Everything under Industry 4.0, but there was a lot of change awareness. Let's keep this running. Let's keep the system running. Never touch a running system, and all of that. And there was no real need to change. Then came this big hammer, COVID, which then all of a sudden was a big thing to change things. Before COVID, this whole topic of home office was not there, or the whole topic of remote work. IoT topics were not that popular. This whole topic of supply chain issue wasn't as hot. This whole topic of a skills gap and not enough qualified people wasn't that hot. And all of a sudden, they are hot topics. And I would say the majority of manufacturers have to deal with these topics.
Yeah.
And they have to find solutions to overcome these problems. So, and the solutions are digitalization is one of them.
There it is, man.
On
see?
top of many.
You wrapped it up. How do people get a hold of you there, Markus? If they said, hey, he's talking my lingo and I want to talk to him, how do they get a hold of you?
That's very easy. I'm very active on this social media, this professional social media tool called LinkedIn.
Yes.
If you ever heard about that, just put my name in and you're connected. If you're able to spell my company name, DigitalituM, you find that as well, either on LinkedIn or on the website. And that's how you can reach me and get in contact with me.
Well, it'll all be out on Industrial Talk. So whatever, whoever, you need to get a hold of Markus, go out to Industrial Talk, find the link. It'll have his LinkedIn. It'll have his company out there. It will be easy peasy. Have a conversation with Markus. As you can tell, mad skills. You will not be disappointed. Hey, thank you, Markus, for being on Industrial Talk.
Thank you so much, Scott. It was a pleasure, and hopefully we talk again.
All right, we're going to have all the contact information for Markus out on Industrial Talk, and we're going to wrap it up on the other side, so stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
All right, your call to action is connect with Markus. As you can tell, mad skills. Go out to his LinkedIn stat card, and you'll be impressed just because, well, I was, and you know, he just has mad skills, and you've got to just commit to that education every single day. Technology and innovation is happening at a blistering pace, and you'll need to collaborate with individuals like Markus in a big way. There's just a lot of tools out there, and from my perspective, what I always get, overwhelmed with is where to start, where to begin. You just need individuals to say, go here, do this, use this tool, that type of thing, and get some wins under your belt in a big way. All right. A couple of things. Webcasts out there on Industrial Talk. Check them out. They're great. The people that are delivering the webcast, wonderful. Absolute incredible Sherpas. All right. That's another call to action. Be bold, be brave, dare greatly, hang out with Markus. You'll change the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.